Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to express some ideas. I came into Islam as a young student when I was attending the University of California in Santa Barbara. That was back in 1968, 69. I was introduced to the concepts and ideas of the Nation of Islam. I was already deeply moved by the Muslim movement, having read the autobiography of Malcolm X. And I was very impressed with Malcolm's description of the discipline and structure of the Nation of Islam. And I said in the back of my mind, even though I wasn't looking for religion, if I had ever gotten serious about a community of order and discipline, that it would be the Nation of Islam. But I continued just my association with Muslims and not being serious. My transformation did not take place until 1970. Having come back home during the summer of '69 to be involved here in some grassroots movement, including UBAD, and having gone through that experience, I think it was just around the time for my metamorphosis, because at the end of that experience, in 1970, is when I officially joined the Nation of Islam. Quite rapidly, I wrote the Honorable Elijah Muhammad when I accepted the Nation of Islam. Told him I was from Belize and that I wanted to learn as much as I could from the Nation of Islam in order to go back to Belize and to establish a temple, what was called the Temple of Islam in those days. Surprisingly, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad answered my letter after being in the Nation of Islam for about a year and a half. In early '72, I got invited by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to come to Chicago. And I was in Chicago for approximately 2 weeks during the period of July of 1972. I was there as the guest of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and had an opportunity to meet with him and to have face-to-face conversation with him for 11 different occasions on that 2-week period that I spent in Chicago. During that period, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad spoke to me about many things. Primarily, he wanted me to represent him and represent the Nation of Islam in Belize. And so he was giving me instructions on what to expect when I come home, and that he would, and the Nation of Islam would support me while I'm here. The support was promised because at that time, the Nation of Islam had leased 55,000 acres of land in the Toledo district. And he wanted someone who would be responsible for looking over this investment. And the objective of that investment was to grow food here in Belize that would be exported to the Nation of Islam. At that time, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had opened several grocery and supermarkets and outlets of that kind in different cities where the Nation of Islam was, such as Chicago, different parts of Illinois, New York, Philadelphia, and the idea was that crops would be grown here in Belize and exported back to the United States. He also, at that time, intended to bring in fish into the Nation of Islam. And so I was responsible for sending up boxes of snapper, grouper, jack, those types of fish to decide whether or not the nation would import fish from Belize. Eventually, it was the nation of Peru that offered a better financial package, and so instead of Belize, Peru became the country that exported a fish called whiting, which was headed and gutted and sold in the States. We have a better fish in Belize, the snapper, the grouper, the jack. These are more high-grade fish. The whiting is a low-grade fish. But it was a matter of economics, and I believe that was the reason why they bypassed Belize and imported the fish from Peru. But while I was sent down to Belize by the Honorable Nuri Muhammad, looking at these areas of business, the primary reason was to establish a temple here in Belize. Prior to my coming home, an effort had already been made by Brother Charles X. Egan, later known as Brother Abdullah, and his companions, Brother Ishmael Shabazz and Brother Rudolph Farrakhan. Before I returned to Belize, these brothers had also made an effort to establish the presence of the message of the Nation of Islam here.